Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the Horowitz NIDCHEI YISRAEL, and he has a Hagah here today that explains why a person who lives near a Beis HaKnesses, a shul, and doesn't go to daven at the shul in his area is called a shachen ra, a bad neighbor. It's also, we can say the following: Ki shachen toiv ein machmir abal habayis. In a regular case of a good neighbor, they never are machmir, they never imposition the balabayis, the landlord. Let's say you have a landlord and there's someone who's leasing the place in their house, and they live in the same house, they live right next to each other, two neighbors right there. He never impositions the other. And in the olden days, there was like one oven, one communal oven that the two of them would use together. And they would cook at the same time. The balabais, the owner of the house, wants to cook. So his tenant, his neighbor, he would also cook. And when the balabais, when the owner of the house would finish cooking, so the neighbor would also finish cooking and they would be able to close up the oven. But a bad neighbor, a bad neighbor is one that after the owner of the house has already closed off the oven. Again, these are the olden days when it was one oven shared by the both of them. So the balabais finished all cooking already and he closed the oven up. Comes along the shachin ra, the bad neighbor, he reopens the oven to cook his own food. Besides the fact that he has to add more wood in order to be able to have the fire churning in the oven, he's taking away wood from the balabais that he would use to keep his house warm, and now his house is going to be cold. The whole kilkel, the whole depletion over here of the wood and the discomfort that the balabais, that his neighbor is going to have in the cold house, is because he decided to make an order for himself. He does things on his own time. He can't be bound by the times that are convenient for other people. The same thing is true in our case over here of the person who davens not with a minyan. When a person enters into shul to daven together with the minyan, and they have their own specific time, which is the proper thing to do. Every day they daven shachris, 6:30, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whenever that might be. The malachim, the angels, open up the gates of heaven for the minyan that is davening, to bring their prayers up above on high. On the other hand, if a person davens in his house all by himself, it happens very often. The tzibur, the congregation in shul, already finished davening, and the gates of heaven were closed. And now when their prayers are going up, they start banging on the gates of heaven, and they're bothering the malachim, the angels, and they are putting unneeded pressure on them to open up the gates to bring their tefillas through. And even if the malachim will listen to them, he is like this bad neighbor who lives on his own time. He doesn't cook when it's convenient. He doesn't use the wood when it's already being used. He doesn't show up when he's supposed to show up. He waits until after his neighbor has already finished cooking and the wood has already died out, and now he's going to have to make things more uncomfortable. That's a shachin ra. So to a person who doesn't come to shul and he's matriach, and he bothers the angels to get his tefillas through, so that is what's called a shachin ra, a bad neighbor in the eyes of Chazal. Have a wonderful day.